Hey, it's me, Chuckie Thomas. Today I'm going to talk about video games and how to gamify your writing process. Gotta go fast! Hey there, welcome back to the channel. This is Chuckie Thomas, the ADHD screenwriter. And today, yes, we are going to talk about video games, one of my favorite things, something I've done my entire life, and probably a lot of you have played your entire life as well. Please like and subscribe before we get started. We've got lots of new friends here on the channel. I'm very excited about that. And of course, comment below. I want to hear about your experiences with ADHD, video games, whatever you want to talk about. We're here to talk about it. Now, as mentioned, this one's about video games, but it's about video gaming your life. Video games are one of the biggest industries on the planet, and everybody plays them now. It's not some little niche thing anymore. And people are gamifying their entire lives, and I think you can gamify your writing process. So I've come up with 5 tips. Let's get started. My first tip is to establish a reward system. Have you ever played a video game that's given you lots of little dopamine hits? Now, a few years ago, I started playing a game you might have heard of called Power Wash Simulator. And I thought, well, it's on PlayStation Plus, so I'll download it. I'll play it for like 5 minutes. I'll bounce off, whatever. Well, I didn't play it for 5 minutes. I platinumed that thing. It's really good about giving you these little sounds and flashes and stuff that just hits your brain and you're just like, yes, I'm accomplishing something. I mean, that's kind of boiling down pretty much every video game, really, but this game was really good at it. It's like you're washing a house, sure, or a car, and it's not just the whole car that gives you that ding. You get the hub, and you get a door handle, and you get the whole door, and maybe the windshield, and then the windshield wiper. It's just like everything. It's just constant ding, 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 and you're just like, man, I'm really good at this. When you're just sitting there just spraying, right? It's a lot of fun. And it's really good to just sit there and relax. So I got to thinking about this. You know, this is basically a reward system. Our brains, our ADHD brains, are not giving us what we need, the dopamine or whatever. And like when we accomplish something, we don't feel it in our head. You know, you wash the dishes, other people are like, hey, I did a thing. How cool. Our brains don't give us that. So why not kind of cheat that a little bit? Maybe play a fun sound on your phone or something. You complete a page and you go, ding, yeah. Or a paragraph or something, whatever it is you need. Maybe you have like something major when you get like through 2 or 3 pages or something. You have a little dance party in your living room. Don't get so distracted by this dance party that's what you do the rest of the day, because that's very possible. But if that's what it takes for you to get through your project, to give you a little cheat for the dopamine in your brain, I say do it. Come up with a reward system that works for you. Another tip idea I had is to design levels for yourself. Now, a lot of video games are getting away from the level system, and you see it obviously in older games, and you can see all this white hair, so you know what I'm talking about. But think of them like
mission complete.
What I'm talking about is that you bundle some things together, right? Like maybe some little objectives. Maybe you're working on a pitch, you're outlining your next story, and you're editing the ending of the script that you're pitching, right? So you know you have to do those 3 things. And those are, maybe sometimes you would break those up into different days or something, or what a lot of us do is just keep them in your head and just like, oh man, I've got to do these things and I'm just not going to do them. Well, now if you design a level where all 3 of these things are kind of bundled together, these are your objectives for the day, and it's a level or mission you have to get through. And this way, eventually you're going to get through all these things, and you can kind of bounce around and do different things, especially if you have trouble focusing too much on one thing, like, ugh, outlining takes forever and I just get so distracted. Well, outline a little, edit that pitch a little, and work on that ending a little, and then you completed that level. And then you're at the final boss or whatever. So that's my tip here, is to kind of bundle these things together in like levels or missions and think of them as one complete thing. And then you can get that dopamine hit and have that little dance party I talked about. So I mentioned bosses earlier, and tip number 3 is design a boss for yourself. So what I mean by this is, you know, in a game, the boss is at the end of a level or a mission, or maybe at the end of the game, and you've got to use all the resources and all the skills that you collected during the game to defeat that boss. To win the game. Now, in your writing life, this could be a task that is just kind of hard, or something you don't necessarily want to do, or maybe you're even a little scared of. So it could be, let's say, the end of a script. That's a pretty easy thing that you're not sure how to wrap everything up, because it's tough. You introduced all this stuff in the first act, and then you introduce more stuff in the second act, and there's some twists and turns and stuff, and you have to wrap all that stuff up in act number 3. And you're scared of it. Well, that could be your final boss, that you have to use all those skills that you collected all through your writing life up to that point to defeat that final boss to get through to the end. Another example of a boss, actually, think of the game Dark Souls, that whole series. They like to throw big bosses at you at the beginning. And this is sort of like a test of like where your skill set is at. And this could be something like just opening final draft. Could be a boss at the beginning of the game. You're scared of the white space, all that white space. So like, oh, how do I start this thing? Well, defeating that boss could literally just be writing a sentence, and all of a sudden that white space has some nice letters in it. And you think, whew, I just defeated that boss. And that's a big deal. It's hard, right? Also, think of sub-bosses in a game where maybe you've got a level and there was the boss at the end, but you've got one in the middle. Well, a sub-boss could be something like getting through the end of the first act. And you're thinking, oh, this is going to be tough. I know the second act is going to be tougher, and that's my big boss. But getting through the end of the first act is a little tough for me. So I'm going to assign it in my head as a sub-boss. And when I got through it, I'm going to go, yes, I did that. So this is sort of like another reward system for yourself. So just think of some bosses that you could overcome, the things that are really tough for you, and when you beat them, it just gives you that extra dopamine boost. Side quests are another big part of video games, especially in open world games. And you might have played some games where they're honestly a little bit more exciting than the main quest, and it's easy to get lost inside of them. But these can also be a big part of gamifying your writing process. Now, I see side quests in this example sort of like you're writing a script, and in the middle of it, you think, oh, I've got to do research on this character's backstory. Or I've got to look into the architecture of Bohemian houses in I'm just making this, I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's the kind of thing that you might have to go look up. Or maybe like I do, I take notes on stuff that I need to change later. So I'm like in the middle of the second act and I go, oh, you know what, this isn't working, but I can't change it yet because it's part of my outline. This is something to go back and change when I'm at the end so I don't get super sidetracked on this. That's a side quest for me. Like, I got to do this because, again, like I mentioned, it's easy to get sidetracked. And you can turn those side quests, these little things, into your main quests, and all of a sudden you don't have a script. Just like in a video game, eventually you have to keep doing the main quests, even just to get more fun side quests, right? Because it is fun to do research. It is fun to take little notes and go back and change things or whatever. But eventually you have to get to the end. To be able to go back and do the things that you want to change or do more research or whatever it is. But you have to get to the end. If only to get to the post-game content, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. DLC, it's just a fact of life now. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of DLC because I'm old enough to remember when game companies used to ship out a game and it was complete, and then you played it and you enjoyed it, and then that was it.
All right.
But DLC is here to stay. It makes way too much money to ever go away, I think. So there we go. Whatever. Some studios don't like to do it, but most of them do. It's a fact of life. Now, as far as gamifying your writing process goes, DLC can be stuff after your completed script is in your hands, or your completed novel is in your hands, and you're looking at it and going, all right, now what? And to me, doing stuff like making pitch decks and emailing people and doing pitches is kind of DLC. I don't like making pitch decks. And honestly, talking about DLC and how it didn't used to be like this, you didn't have to used to make pitch decks as a screenwriter because that wasn't part of our skill set. You just write a genius script and then you send it out and someone goes, wow, this is great. And then they give you money and then you're rich and famous. Not really, but you get the idea that making a pitch deck was not something we used to have to do, but now we do. So this is some unfortunate DLC. Or doing a pitch online or something like that. That's part of the DLC, is that you've got this completed script. Sure, you got to the end of the game. Now you've got to keep going post-game and get that pitch done and make that sale, because otherwise it's just sitting on a shelf. I am very guilty of this. I've mentioned before, I've written over 30, 35 feature films, a lot of them for clients, but a lot of my spec scripts just sit on my computer because I get to the end and I think, wow, these are great. Maybe I have a read through or something and get some notes and make them better. But then I pitch it out a little bit, but then I just don't keep going. So I'm not very good at that DLC, and it's something I'm working on. So I'm going to suggest it to myself to keep doing it, and also to you. Otherwise, it's just kind of pointless. Like, if it's just sitting in your computer or on your shelf or something, and nobody gets to see your genius, it's a waste of time, basically. So get on that DLC and get to work. That's the end of this video about gamifying your writing process. I hope it helped you as much as it helped me. I'm going to go try these out. What do you think? Like and subscribe before you go, because we have lots of cool videos coming. And of course, comment below. Tell us all about your writing process and how you gamify it. Speaking of video games, how about you go back and watch this video again? There's a hidden Chuck and a hidden Josh in there. If you comment below and tell us the timestamps, we'll give you a shout out in a future video. How about that? And of course, before we go, I see you. You're disassociated. You're playing video games. Stop that. Go write. It's not like an old man. Go write, come back, and then watch more videos. See you next time. Maggie's more into Beastie Boys than I am. Episode 19, outro, take 1. That's it for this episode about gamifying your writing process. I hope you help. Rewind.